welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And today we have another Stork Club whiskey on the cask. If you don't remember, if you haven't watched it, I've already reviewed the Stork Straight Rye, Stork Club, not Storkcast, Stork Club Straight Rye whiskey. Yeah, it's a German whiskey, a few kilometers or a few decades of kilometers, 60, 90 kilometers south of Berlin, and they do rye whiskey. And this here is now a smoky rye whiskey. And the thing is, it's not made smoky by the spirit, but it is made smoky by the barrel or by the cask they matured it in. And here it says on the back, it says how they do it. A healthy amount of our smoky rye whiskey was aged in ex-Laphroaig barrels. It was expertly blended with individual toasted barrels from American and German Napoleon oak to create a marvelous, smoky, sweet, and complex rye whiskey. Enjoy it neat, will you? So they actually tell us to try it neat, and with 50%, that's a bit of a stretch. So this is not a beginner's whiskey. If you tell the people to enjoy it neat and have a smoky rye whiskey, that's definitely not for beginners. Rye whiskeys are usually very spicy. Smoky is smoky, so both these tastes are not the easy, pleasant ones that you would consider a beginner that's a little bit of afraid of whiskey to try. So this here is the bottle, and there's a little bit of a keychain or there with the Stork Club logo on it, so you get a little bit of a merchandise as well. So the rye was 100% grown in Germany, and I think I've talked a little bit about the Stork Club distillery already, and let's have a try. So it's got a little bit more kick to it than its brother, and it's got a plastic cork, so no chance of having any cork influence here. I was a bit hyped as I read smoky rye, because that would have been a really cool thing to have a rye grain or rye malt smoked and then have a whiskey from that. Because I'm not sure how smoky that will be with just having Laphroaig barrels or Laphroaig casks for maturation, and even only part of them. Okay. It's very fresh, very phenolic. Very, very fresh. It's like the forest, like herbs in the forest, grass, moss. Maybe not moss because that's a little bit damp and stuff, but very, very fresh and herby. It's strange because the tasting notes say toffee. I don't get that at all. Do have to disagree with the tasting notes. Yeah, you do have that rye bread, and the smoke, they say it's like ham. No, it's like medicine ash, phenolic touch. So you definitely do get that marine flavor that you get from the Laphroaig. Even stronger than in the Laphroaig. That's probably because it's combined with the rye, and that really gives you the association of it. Yeah, too big. At the beginning, you just think about where's the smoke, and just have a bit of a flowery, grassy, herby tone, but then it hits you. Yeah, that's definitely a Laphroaig note in there, with the same kind of smoke in there. Now we do have a real smoke. In the nose, it was just a little bit of a phenolic touch here and there, a little bit of a dry old smoke. Here we now in the flavor, we have definitely a good amount of smoke. It doesn't come close to a Islay whiskey, so it's definitely nowhere near 40, 50 ppm. I would say it's rather at 15, but it's still more than I expected. I expected something like 5, 10, just a little smidge of smoke, and it's not sweet at all. I find really strange that they say sweet, and what did they say? To give it a smoky, sweet, and complex rye whiskey. It's, for me, it's not really sweet. It's got interesting, complex flavors from all around, from tons of spiciness to smokiness to phenolic touches to flowery, herby touches. All in all, it's a very interesting and complex whiskey, and definitely to be savored. Not a beginner's whiskey at all, because it's just so far out in these strange, spicy, and complex tastes. But it's yeah, it's nice, and nothing of sweetness for me. Now that I have a second sip, there is a little sweetness, but it's just a very faint sweetness compared to the spiciness that rises up when you swallow, and that smokiness that clouds your mouth. Now in the second sip, it's more phenolic medicinal smoke than marine smoke. Yeah, a little bit of a marine smoke. So it's a mixture. It's a mixture. It's a very interesting, complex whiskey, but you have to be in for a non-sweet whiskey. There is a lot of stuff going on. Even has a bit of a oak aftertone in there as well. A little bit of a tannin oak aftertone. So you have to be in for smoky, spicy, and a little bit of a bit of sweetness and herbs. Yeah, so very interesting whiskey. Very different to what we've seen before, and that's what I like about whiskey. They're all different. And here I see it's I got the batch number 1 limited release 2000 bottles, and it's just a 0.5 liter bottle. So yeah, maybe you've already seen that because it's just a bit smaller. Yeah, that was it. Thank you very much for watching this review, and see you next time.